Oh boy.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Quick Diz Takes podcast, episode number 78. I'm your host, Tim Laveau, alongside Mr. John Castano.
Hi.
Mrs. Sarah Castano.
Hey, howdy, hey.
Sarah, who's your little friend you brought on set today?
This is Cinnamon. She's all snuggled up because she does not like it when it's anything lower than 75 out. And it's about 18.
Yeah, it was terrible today. If you guys are new to the show, please take a minute to smash the like button. I know Sarah I listened to the podcast last week that I wasn't there for. You were mentioning that you don't like to smash the like button. Well, I like to smash it. So smash that like button, share with your friends. Thank you for listening. And I hope you're enjoying the show. We are back from our winter break, which is always a nice break, but also nice to be back. And we did not go through the trouble. I did not put myself through the trouble of having a topic for this week's episode because I thought, we'll see what everyone was up to over the break. We had a long newscast, so we didn't get much of a chance to catch up on all that stuff. And then we'll kind of keep it short and sweet and then kind of get back to our regular formats next week. So, Johnny, we really didn't get a chance. I'm going to start with you, Johnny.
Okay.
Is there anything in particular? Well, what was it like to run the Dopey? Johnny ran the Dopey, for anyone who didn't know. And if anyone doesn't know what that is, that's 4 races, correct, in 4 days. So what is that, a 5K?
5K, 10K, half, and full.
Yeah. So you might ask why someone would do that. And I think Johnny might explain, was it worth it? How was the experience?
I can't tell you why somebody would do it, but
my heart is pounding out of my chest just thinking about it.
It was a cool experience. I mean, it was rough having to wake up at like 3:30 every morning and having to take a bus, be on a bus by I woke up even earlier than that. I woke up at like 3 every morning. I had to take a bus at like 3:30, 3:45 to get over to Epcot. I mean,
sorry,
it
Johnny.
was. I mean, once you got to Epcot, and like I'd said in the news, seen Spaceship Earth with like the new light thing. It was nice to see it. You forget about being up that early. You're around a bunch of people, but the races went good. The first 3 were real good. The marathon was a little rough from about mile 5 on, once the soreness finally kicked into my legs. But I completed my goal of under 4 hours in a marathon and getting all of it done.
That's good. Would you consider running more marathons? Like just a marathon? Like, you know what I mean? Like locally or whatever?
I would consider just running the marathon in Disney.
Yeah, without the other 3.
I don't think I'm going to try to run the Boston Marathon. I don't think I'm just going to run a random marathon that are around here. It's just I like half marathons. I'll stick to a full in Disney because it's different and you get to run it. I mean, I was in all 4 parks before 9:00. It was cool to see different things that I'd never seen, like running back by Animal Kingdom. Not like it was exciting to see like where their whole like disposal and trash center is, but it was cool to see it. I mean, it
was magical.
It was something to see. Like you see garbage trucks. You don't see garbage trucks at Disney, but they had them all parked and they had their big. It didn't smell, which they had scents blowing, so you couldn't smell the garbage. But like you get to see.
Figured that.
And like there's just back roads back behind Animal Kingdom that you don't, unless you look at a map, you don't know they're back there.
That's really a race fee right there, is the smells on the marathon, the dump trucks.
But
hey, you know what? If they're able to get rid of the smell, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it was like there's a lot. I mean, you think of running, you're like, oh, you get to run in the parks when they're closed and backstage, but there's a lot of boring roads at Disney that you don't think about, even when you're like on the buses. Like there's stretches of roads that is just nothing, and those are the tough parts. But it was like you do get to run in the parks. You get to run. You're behind the land pavilion and Imagination. You get to see all that stuff. You get to run back by the new Guardians roller coaster underneath the back of Test Track. It's just cool thing. You get to run the boardwalk on the marathon. Like you get this, you run that walking path. And then just the whole seeing, you see that reveal of the castle in a way different way than like just as a visitor. You get excited to see that castle on the turn. And now this is you're running down Main Street with, it's a clear shot of there's people, spectators, but you get that clear shot of Main Street empty. Basically, you get to see all the way to the castle empty. It was good. Yeah, I'll probably do it again next year.
A lot of taxation on the body.
Yeah, it was rough. I spent the rest of the day in Epcot, and it was, as long as the ground was flat, it was good. It was that walking, taking one step up or one step down was a bit rough. And then, I'd planned to go back to work.
Your calves are on fire, huh?
Yeah, I couldn't. I had to take a couple of days out of work because there was no way I could walk up and down stairs. So,
oh wow, it's a lot of running in one day. I remember seeing a guy.
48 miles.
48.6.
It was rough. And then I stupidly, after the 5K, I went back to Pop and I ran another 5K because it was just like, I don't know, 3 miles.
That's so random.
Enough. So it was like, I just wanted to get a little more exercise in, which I don't know, whatever.
Hey, whatever.
Could have given yourself 3 more miles of that marathon, not being sore.
But you get to see another thing. You get to see different characters that you don't get to see in the parks. Like I had never seen Robin Hood and Prince John. I'm not Prince John and Little John. I got to see them as like.
Well, they run into the forest.
No, they were just standing in the forest. They were being lazy. Like Jafar, I'd never.
They were being lazy.
You saw Jafar, you saw Mickey in his, colonial outfit. There was different ones.
Were they robbing from Disney to feed the guests?
They should have been.
It's funny. I watched a guy one time that was like a marathon runner. I wish I could remember who it was, but it was someone that was apparently quite accomplished at it. And they were saying, it was like a Q&A and people were like, you're in such good shape that blah, blah, blah. And before he even answers the question, he's like, first, I want to stop you right there. He's like, I'm not in good shape. He's like, the guy who runs 9-10 miles every other day, every day, leisurely, for exercise, that guy's in good shape. He's like, training for marathons literally just destroyed my body. Nonstop pushing myself to like every limit. And I just feel like, the Dopey reminds me of something like that, where yes, you do it to be in good shape, of course, but at the same time, it's like, it's a beating on your body,
Yeah, like
shoveling the driveway today.
Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of people just do that Dopey. That's their running for the year. They train just to run that thing. I had the benefit of I ran for years. I ran for 5 years without ever thinking about running a race. So it's like at least I had I've had 8 years of training to run this, so it wasn't as bad I don't know, but it does put a toll on your body.
I can imagine.
So he's incredibly humble about this whole experience, because me as a non-runner, I got all the stats from the RunDisney afterwards.
Yeah, I saw that.
He ran 48.6 miles in a collective 7 hours and 45 seconds. No, maybe a half marathon. I could do 7 hours.
See, the worst part I think was you're at Disney. I went to the parks every day. Fine. You walk around, ride. The worst part was trying to not eat bad at Disney, because it's tough to
yeah, that's a challenge in itself.
You want a
Mickey bar,
you want a churro, you want you want to get a beer or something, and I eat a lot of chicken salads with chicken and rice and I ate a lot of the
Maybe a light
trail
beer.
mixes. But at least we get to carbo load at Sanaa before the marathon. So that was pretty good with the bread service.
Wait a minute, before the marathon? What, the night before?
Yeah, the night before.
Yeah.
But
He
that
didn't
was
call Michael Scott, don't worry.
yeah.
That's all I can think about.
I knew. I knew.
You're in the back of the race, and Sarah's giving you the noodles.
The
pasta.
styrofoam,
Carb load.
the water stations. No.
Once it was over, I did eat. Oh, I ate good.
Well, why not?
And I took some time off for running. So that was
Why not? Sarah, how was your break? How was your like little trip? Like, did you have some time alone in the parks too?
There was a lot of stress because I'd gotten into a car accident right before he was leaving with the marathon. So he left on the Wednesday and I wasn't flying out until Friday. And then there was a snowstorm. And so I was just like an anxious hot mess, more than usual. So I get down there happily right on time when I was supposed to. He was already asleep. And so that following morning, he did the half marathon. And afterwards, we went back to the hotel and he showered and took a nap. I had 4 hours by myself in Hollywood Studios. I was like skipping by myself. Like I could do things. I didn't have a stroller or wipes I had snacks because I like to eat, but like I did Mickey and Minnie's. I was in line at
I didn't realize Johnny required all those things. Wipes and strollers.
He does.
It's tough to travel with me.
I tell you, it takes a toll on your body, Tim. No, but it was great. Like I missed my kids, but it was nice this is the first like time solo. And I got in line for Rock and Roller Coaster, and then I was like 5-10 minutes away and the ride broke down, so everybody left. But it was to go on Star Tours and to go here and like just be by yourself in the park. Even if it was just a few hours, it was like awesome. And then he called me. No, just kidding. But he saved me and my son.
I got my wipes and my stroller and I went and got it.
It was.
He might have needed a stroller after those races.
I told him, I was like, if I have to rent a motorized scooter and you're telling me no, and then there's none when I need to rent one for
I
you.
would have loved to. It was weird. I know you only had the 4 hour, but I had like the 3 days of being alone. It was, I mean, it was nice being alone in Disney, but it was definitely a weird experience being.
I feel like it'd be
alone.
nice, but I also feel like those moments where like something happens or you see something when you just want someone to like turn to and mention it to, and it's like just
like
no
you
one
can
there.
only have so many like
or just to wait with you in line.
Conversations with random people. Yeah.
See, like I knew I had a few hours in the park, but I knew that you were joining me. It wasn't like, hey, I'm here for 3 days all by myself. Like
I almost didn't join her because when I did call her, I said, "Where are you?" She said, "I'm at Pizza Rizzo." I'm like, "What are you doing there?" So I almost went by myself again.
I wasn't actually eating at Pizza Rizzo. I had stepped off to the side where clearly there is no foot traffic to consult my app about wait times for rides.
That's what you say.
Here.
I don't know about Pizza Rizzo.
No, with all the offerings.
It's like cardboard with cheese on it.
Ribbo?
Pizza Rizzo. That is the funniest thing because they built that. Well, they didn't build it. They reskinned it. Took all the time to reskin it, and it's like the biggest waste of time.
Yep.
It's barely ever open, and I don't know. I think it'd be more successful. They just make good pizza.
Well, if you watch, if you're anybody knows of Barstool Sports and Dave Portnoy, and he does those pizza reviews. He was at Disney and he did review Pizza Rizzo, and he gave it a very high score for his.
That's shocking.
Weird. Which, but
I mean, it's not even.
He didn't even go to like Via Napoli or anything. That was his pizza review in Disney. So I don't know.
Via Napoli.
He was probably not planning on doing a pizza review in Disney, and then he like stumbled across Pizza Rizzo, and he's like, "Well, might as well do this."
Yeah, he gave it in the 7s, which is
wow.
High.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the last time I had a pizza there, it may have still been Pizza Planet. No, that's not true. I definitely went to Pizza Rizzo once. Yeah, not really for me. It's what you would expect from like.
Yeah, theme park.
Something like that, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, what else? What other exciting thing? Oh, well, we saw. I know Johnny's not going to like this topic, but we went and saw Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
Same show, but we didn't see each other. What do we think about the live Hamilton?
I enjoyed it. I thought the cast was really great. I mean, I texted you about my thoughts on Eliza. I felt really bad. So it was a surprise for John for Christmas. And he thought we were seeing the original Broadway cast. So when I asked him about it afterwards, he was like, it was okay. And I was like, wait a minute, okay. But he thought he was going to see like Lin-Manuel Miranda. He was going to see Philip Sue. Like he thought he was seeing the OGs. And I was like, yeah, they don't do this anymore.
And we wouldn't be able to afford it.
No, I'd have to sell you to somebody to afford those tickets.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I don't really have, I mean, we had discussed Eliza a little bit, and Carrie was bringing up Eliza as well. But we do have to bear in mind that we listen to the soundtrack for the most part. We do, we have it live on Disney Plus, but even on Disney Plus, there's different takes. It's not straight live. So, maybe I'm sure that cast has had their off nights too.
Absolutely. So, and no one's perfect, but
it was pretty good. I was pretty happy.
Yeah.
Aria at like the last maybe 4 songs was kind of like, even though she knows the whole thing and all that good stuff, she was kind of like, how many more songs? Like she was ready to go.
Too.
Yeah, it's 3 hours. The kids.
Yeah. And the intermission is not really enough for them to like get their antsiness out.
No. It was good though. I would do it again. As a matter of fact, if it comes again, I'll go again. It wasn't even that expensive.
See, we sat higher up, so
did we. But I was fine where we were. We were like in the almost the top section, and it was like, but it was a front row of that section, so no one was in front of us.
Yeah, we were like 4 rows up, so we must have been like the tier right after you, and like 4 rows back.
Oh, were you?
Like people in front of us.
Yeah,
you said where you were, but like I didn't know where that was relative to us.
I don't really know that place that well. I just kind of like follow.
I just go with the ushers. Tell me, yeah,
and then give tickets to the usher and seat me.
Help.
But it was good.
No, it was really good.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Still my favorite musical of all time, and I enjoyed it live. I did hear one woman say, as we were walking out, she really liked it. And she was like, I think it was better than Lin-Manuel Miranda's version, blah, blah, blah. And I looked at Carrie, I was like, do you hear that? She's like, no. And I told her what she said. And I looked at Carrie, I was like, it was fine. Come on.
Maybe she saw a street performer, like a busker, and thought that was Lin-Manuel.
And I mean, the thing is with Lin-Manuel is that like the way he portrays Hamilton is just going to be always going to be the way I like it.
Right. That's how you were introduced to it.
Like he's more lovable, kind of like a Hamilton, where Carrie had brought it up and I didn't really think about it until she said it. But this Hamilton that we saw was, at least, yes, we saw the same show. He was a little more of a serious Hamilton, kind of.
Yes.
In a way. So it's funny how people still have different takes on the characters, even though it's been done before.
But it's tough because he wrote it. So he had every intention in mind of how he wanted this character portrayed. And every portrayal after that is still trying, like they want to do that part justice, but they also want to make it different for themselves. And they want a different piece to own it for themselves too. So. Yeah,
he had more of like Hamilton was like the local town politician that was doing great things, but he was also like really approachable and it's like, let's have a beer and like kind of a fun everyday Joe kind of guy at the same time. That was just ambitious, where this guy was more like Hamilton was like really aware of his stature and like took it seriously. Maybe is the best way to put it. I don't know. I mean, it was fine either way. It was just different. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So we mentioned at the end of the news, and we'll just kind of make this the last part here. State of the parks in 2022. And I was trying to think like, what's that even mean? And I know like Sarah might say, I'd like to see Tron open in 2022. Just for
before 2025
an example of like something. But is there something like you'd like to see next time you go to Disney that's not there right now? I mean, I know we talked about the buffets coming back, but like, is there, outside of price reduction, if we're not going to get, is there something, I don't know, anything anyone can think of that they look forward to in 2022? I mean, I'm assuming
like something announced that is returning or something that is announced.
Anything, just anything. Are you looking forward to, going next time? Maybe there's more 50th anniversary merch. Are you looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy? Are you looking for? I mean, I guess it's the easy answer, right?
Yeah.
I think that. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll say they have a couple things down right now for refurb and for the their annual maintenance, but I don't know. I want to know what they're. Oh, I don't want to know. Like I'm just curious about like what they're gonna do now that Primeval Whirl is out.
Yeah,
Like,
that
what are they doing? So like everybody's very critical.
yeah, I
of
want an
Dino Land.
announcement.
Yeah. Everybody thinks it's, I mean, we've talked about before, it's kind of they cheaped out and just kind of like, hey, let's stick this amusement park, like this parking lot amusement park here, but it doesn't flow with the rest of like Dino Land USA in itself is cohesive, but it doesn't vibe with the rest of everything around it, especially when you consider you have the dinosaur ride right there, which is like leaps and bounds above Triceratops Spin and the arcade games. So what's going there? Are we bridging that? Is this like the first part of an overhaul for Dino Land? Like, are they just going to leave that part empty and then take that as opportunity to kind of like shut down the rest of Dino Land and redo it? Is that going to be like the gateway into the magical beings? But they kind of lost their magical beings when they did Pandora. Like, how does, I just want to know what is going on with Dino Land.
So if they build another dinosaur themed attraction over there, which I guess we don't even necessarily have to assume is going to be an attraction, but I would think there would be, then that would obviously indicate that the dinosaur is going to stay. But then there's rumors the dinosaur is not going to stay. So do we get an announcement on dinosaur first and then they deal with that later?
Like, even if they put like a fun house in there, like a mirror room. Like what are they? I just want to know what they're doing with that. I mean, if they're making it like that parking lot amusement ride.
Are they waiting for Indiana Jones 5 to come out too?
There's that thought.
If that's a success, they can kind of not necessarily, I mean, they could retheme it, not necessarily specifically to Indiana Jones, but more of the whole, they can keep like the whole archaeological thing and put Indiana Jones stuff in it. I don't know.
And does Indiana Jones work in that area? Like, does that even matter anymore?
Honestly,
anyway,
I don't think Animal Kingdom's a thought for them right now. And if they're going to think about Animal Kingdom, I think they'd do something in Pandora.
Well, Animal Kingdom's on the brink of really being up to snuff and everything else. Like, so the Magic Kingdom's always been up to snuff, obviously. Then like Hollywood Studios is kind of there now. Although I'd like to see it get maybe like one more ride. It would be good. But it's pretty close. Epcot is trying to find its way. Epcot's scratching and clawing to find its way.
I feel like it would really kind of like put the kibosh on that, because it seems like with everything, all the announcements from D23, with all like the lands that they had and the worlds or whatever, like they have an idea, like they have a direction. They just need to get it off the ground because of COVID. They kind of couldn't do a lot of it, but at least they have an idea on how to like pull it into the worlds, the lands, whatever.
Yeah.
But then you have Animal Kingdom just kind of like, they had the idea for the safari and then they go, cool, we've got like the centerpiece, what goes around it? And it's kind of
a Lion King dark ride. I mean, at this point you made Zootopia.
Yeah. Put Zootopia.
Maybe they feel like Zootopia is just not going to have a lasting impression. It is kind of like an afterthought movie in a way. Like I like it a lot, but I don't know. Sometimes you gotta like, when you're thinking about Disney movies, it takes a second before you remember Zootopia. You know what I mean?
I think they also test, they're doing that Frozen and Zootopia in one of the, I don't know if is it Shanghai or is it one of the overseas parks?
Yeah, they're doing Zootopia.
They're doing Zootopia. So I see
Hong
like
Kong, Japan.
That's more of a test to see how that is over there. And then if it's good, and then they bring it over here. It seems like they're doing, I don't know.
The thing is, you got to find the ride too, right? You got to like, it has to come with a ride. Like you got to have a good idea. And I guess with Zootopia, I think maybe Johnny had said it before, Stephen, one of you guys, where like you could put the Zootopia ride, like you could use the dinosaur ride system easily to like be whipping through the city.
And they kind of did that a little bit, but it's spoilers if you haven't, but onto Ratatouille, kind of like from their point of view.
But the other thing is like, is reskating rides going to work too? Because isn't it getting to the point now where like if you don't it almost gets boring too if it's the same ride system after a while.
Maelstrom.
Yeah. Well, that one's that's a particular point. I mean, I guess a Disney water boat ride is always going to be there though. Maybe, I don't know.
Right. But and I understand they had the building and everything's built up around it, so they were kind of limited, but whatever.
I'm totally over like the Frozen ride. Like does nothing for me anymore at all. I know it's not geared at me, but like I like the movie and stuff. But if I don't do it on a trip, I just don't care.
Yeah.
That's not good,
I almost like the inside queue more than the ride. I
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
I like the theming of it and how, because they were actually able to, like, they had to use what they had for the inner part of the ride, but that queue they could kind of just
Yeah, they could
theme it
restructure.
however they wanted to, and so
It's
you
not
could
that
see-
long hallway with the
no, you
carpet
just-
on the wall with
you
the
just see
mural.
their creativity there.
Some rides
More
do
so
it and
than
some
the
rides
ride.
just don't, like, and I think Frozen's one of those rare rides, like what Johnny just said, like the queue engulfs you, but then the ride's just kind of like, all right,
Underwhelming.
wasn't bad.
But
But
I
I
feel like
just-
if they're looking for something for Animal Kingdom and they want to tie it to an IP, yes, they need to have a ride and a draw, and it has to be something that'll pull people in. But like so much of Disney's original like backlog catalog that got them off the ground, the classics are animal related.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you could just go the route of the Jungle Book.
Jungle Book, Bambi, 101 Dalmatians. Like there are so many.
And it's nonstop. It's
Right.
basically yeah. Kind of weird. But they got to get that. They got to do something about that land.
Right.
I hate to say get rid of Dinosaur because I think Dinosaur's good.
Yeah.
What I don't like about Dinosaur is I feel like, well, it's not that I don't like it, but you need to come up with something to go with it that will also be good. Not Primeval Whirl, and I don't really know if they have that in them.
So I was just gonna say, so Dinosaur is kind of an outlier for the rest of Dinoland USA. It's a little bit separated from it. Do you think they could keep Dinosaur, maybe do like a refurb? I mean, I know they're doing like maintenance on the exterior right now, but like could Dinosaur stand alone and somehow just connect to whatever they replace Dinoland USA with? If they make that their mythical creatures or their whatever. I mean, it's a small enough area that they don't have to go crazy, but it's enough of an area where if they did go unicorns and dragons and whatever, dinosaurs aren't that far off of something mythical, and they could, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or would something mythical belong closer to Pandora?
It's tough. And Pandora, I don't know.
Because Pandora
We
connects
bring it
the
up once in a
back way,
while.
like,
It's
towards
tough.
Africa, right? Because there's that back walkway. If you go past Festival of the Lion King,
Yeah.
that connects. But what's on the opposite side? I can't place that part right now.
The opposite side.
The opposite side of what?
So the Tree of Life, left is Pandora. You get into
Mhm.
Pandora, you go right, you end up in Africa.
Oh,
But what's on the opposite side, like the back part, is unless that's like the parking lot and the entrance.
hold on.
Yeah, there's nothing over there.
Yeah, like Dinoland isn't. I'd have to put. Hi, puppy. I'd have to pull up a map of like Dinoland versus like where it is in relation to.
If you're walking into
I use the
Animal
map up.
Kingdom, if you're walking into Animal Kingdom, Dinoland is on your right,
On your right, yeah.
and Pandora is on your left. They're
Yep.
like the two
Opposites,
front
yep.
parts.
hmm
There's basically behind Pandora is water. There's like a big lake, and then there's kind of, what does this say?
There's an expansion
And
lot somewhere
there's
over
like there's a cast
I don't
cast
understand.
services back there, so they could do
Oh.
do something over there. And there's definitely something like behind.
there. And I
There's
think
room
that
behind Satuli Canteen and stuff.
they're
over
waiting
there.
for Pandora to see if it's going to be. They're going to see if Avatar 2 is going to be like a hit or not, I think. Well,
I know,
put their
like we
mon-
said
they
the
put
other
their
day,
money
like it
on
was
James
an odd
Cameron.
selection. It's an
James-
odd selection for one film. I just did two
Yep.
fingers.
Well, they're supposed to be making all these. There's like 3 of them coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
And James Cameron is, I mean, I'll say one thing about the guy. He's about as safe as bet you can make for in Hollywood. I don't know if there's a movie he's made people don't like. You're talking Aliens, Terminator, Titanic, and he's all over the realm.
Oh yeah.
The guy makes good movies. So we'll see. We'll see. And also, I'd like to add that prices should come down in 2022.
Yes. That's kind of a given, I feel.
And more
Love everyone.
like, I know they're having trouble with, as everybody is with workers, but like, it's still, I don't know. It's still weird seeing the "sorry we're closed" signs in certain, just simple as like the barber shop or
Yep.
like a gift shop that you like to go to, like the just Hollywood Studios, like that whole, when you're walking down Sunset Boulevard towards Tower of Terror, like that whole left side, not that, like it's usually like a Pixar gift shop, and like that's all closed. one of the other gift shops. So it's just I like to see those open. And then I know I actually just saw this afternoon that they put they filled the Fantasmic, the water back up. So like that, hopefully that'll be coming back soon. It's just, bring that stuff back. And there's not really a nighttime show at.
Let's be back to normal Disney by the end
Bring
of the
those
year.
things back. I'd like to see that back this year.
Like beyond the powers of Disney, beyond Disney's powers, I just like to see it go back to normal Disney by the end of 2022. I can just walk in the park, go on rides without masks.
Yeah,
Yada,
well, I'm
yada.
surprised because there were a lot of people, the cast members kind of, mask up, ma'am, sir. We went to Pirates and the cast member was holding the boat because this party at the back was too busy taking a selfie. And so they kind of waited to finish taking the picture. And they're like, ma'am, your mask, your mask, your mask, your mask. And then I guess they just couldn't hold the boat anymore. They let them go. But like when they first did all this, you couldn't get your pictures if someone had their mask down or if it was below their nose or something. Then they were putting digital masks on people who didn't have their masks on so that the people who had them on could still purchase. They could still make that purchase and get money that way. So they started to do that. But now I'm seeing more and more pictures of people posting with no masks on at their ride. And it's Pirates. It's Slinky Dog. It's Seven
I didn't get my
Dwarfs.
picture for Pirates because the people in front of me took their masks off as soon as they started moving. That one
Yeah, but
never
you
showed
also
up in
did
my
bunny
phone.
ears too. So
I just think that I think this is going to be the year where it gets to the point where they're like, all right, here's the deal. We've seen all the numbers, seen all the stats. Get vaccinated if you want. That's going to help you. If you don't want to do it, you're on your own. Everyone's going back to, basically where we were before. And that's that. Endemic. But a lot of scientists are saying this is the endemic period of this. So hopefully that'll be the way it is afterwards. And everyone can just kind of choose for themselves, especially at this point where the vaccines aren't really stopping the spread as much. So it's now becomes more of now becomes more of like, whether you choose to protect yourself or not.
Yeah. And
I would be so happy with that in a way because I'd be so done with just listening to people yap about it. That gets tiresome, as we all know.
Yep.
I had a lady the other day at the shop yapping about it because we have a mask. We have a sign on the door. She was like losing her mind. She was like really mad. Not at me, but like you could see her. Like the desk is right at the window, and you could see her being like reading the sign and be like, and swearing up a storm and getting the mask. So I think Disney cast members will be glad to see the end of that. And that's the other thing about jobs. People getting jobs like I went to Market Basket today and I was like, well, we had this, for those of you that are from New England, we had a pretty big storm this weekend. And I'm going to Market Basket. I'm thinking to myself, why would anybody for what they're getting paid at this place ever want to work here? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. 17, 18 years old and have to tell people get cussed out because they don't want to put their mask up, but you're literally just doing your job.
That and the fact that the bad weather, you're going to come in and make like nothing.
Yeah.
Come in terrible weather.
Yeah.
And then deal with that on top of everything else.
I was gonna say for people outside of New England, we had a really big snowstorm and it was amazing because everybody was so busy posting pictures of how bad the snow was in their area. I didn't hear something about masks. I didn't hear anything about vaccinations or COVID or complaint. It was amazing.
The weather was
white everywhere.
Storm was pretty damn bad too. I might add.
We have drifts, so I don't know how much we actually got. It's like you look out the kitchen window, you can see grass, and then halfway up our fence, like that midpoint that goes horizontal, like the snow's up to there, but you can see our grass. So like, how much did we actually get? I should make that into a math problem for my kids.
I would say it was pretty good. I mean, this eye test wise.
Yeah.
The drifts weren't where I had to shovel. The drifts were in the middle of the yard where I'm not shoveling, but
well, sorry.
Well.
Shout out to our awesome neighbors who plowed us out.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Friends.
Shout out to the snowblower that I'm getting.
Shout out to Johnny for shoveling while I stayed inside.
I can't shovel.
We have a snowblower, but
it's like one of the top things I'm not supposed to do.
So maybe this is not the region for you, my friend.
Well, I mean, I'm just learning this over the last year. I mean,
And I'm not kicking you out of New England. I'm just saying.
If I could leave New England, I would anyway.
Take us with you.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it here.
We were
I mean,
talking about,
not everything, but like the general idea, like, I don't like the weather. Every year goes by, I get older and grumpier and hate the weather more.
I was texting a couple weeks ago with our friend from Disney Dad podcast about, just stuff going on. Like cold weather to them is not cold for us. It's like long sleeves and jeans kind of weather. And so I was like, oh, you're just kind of texting back and forth. And he's like, oh, the temps are here. And then, the real estate prices are this. And you guys should come live down here. And we'd love to have you for neighbors. I'm like, well, don't talk to Johnny about it. He'd start looking at real estate. And then I talked to him and he's like, oh, I've already looked into it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There are definitely options.
Yeah.
If you wanted to make it happen, it could be made to happen. Is what
Hi, puppies. I know.
I feel.
Over here.
Hey.
There he is.
Oh, Chase.
It's been a while.
I was going to say, has anyone alerted to Chase that we're back
He's
on?
giving a shout out to his fingers because he can always count on them.
Was he your sound effect board, man? There we go. Sorry, went acoustic for you, Chase.
Sorry, Chase, but we're getting out of here. I'm going to go watch and see if the San Francisco 49ers can upset the Rams.
We love the dogs.
And how about those Bengals?
How about
Hey,
that?
they're going to the Super Bowl.
Who would have thought?
That was
The
quick.
Bengals.
That was something, that game.
I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
I lived in Ohio for 4 years, and those people didn't have much to cheer about when it came to the Bengals. But here they are in the Super Bowl.
Tom Brady's retiring, but not retiring too.
Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to say at the beginning of the show. I didn't get to make my joke. The Quick Diz podcast. And I'll say it now. Stay tuned to the Quick Diz News next Thursday. Maybe the only news outlet that did not report Tom Brady was retiring falsely.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What can I say?
And now I'm starting to think that it's gonna not only is it gonna be false, like too early, like to jump the gun, but I don't think he's actually gonna retire.
No, I think it's like, oh yeah, you want me to retire? Cool, 3-year contract. Here we go.
Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna go that crazy, but he's gonna.
He'll throw another year in for good measure.
I think that he is waiting to see who the Bucks can bring back and whether it'll be worth his time, because they got a lot of like contract issues. And if they can bring back a team that he thinks that can compete, I think he might think about it. But I still think he's got like one foot out the door. I mean, come on, he's been playing forever. Forever. 2000.
Honestly,
think about that.
So hadn't have been hurt, he'd have never gotten off that line.
I know, it's crazy. It's had a crazy run of success and luck and a little everything. Skill, luck, success.
Wait.
Just been a crazy run. So, if I were him, I'd take my money and run with no career injuries or anything like that. That's always nice. Our live stream seems to be having issues right now.
Well, he's not going to retire because he has to re-sign with the Patriots and then retire.
Yeah, well, he's going to do that. That's obvious. But they were saying, like, imagine if he played 3 more years and he could, if he wanted to, go get 16,000 more yards and get 100,000 passing yards. I mean,
yeah,
I would be very confident in saying that will never be touched. But
no.
3 more years, you're talking about this guy being like almost 50. It's crazy.
Blows my mind. I know. I'm sorry. I hit your boo.
Good for him. Anyway, we're out of here. We will see you next week with a format. We're gonna figure out a format. We're gonna get back to the grind here.
Gotta get back on those training wheels.
Yeah, back on the topics. Gotta like topics. And hopefully we'll be back with Steven, the man of 1,000 voices, as it's so eloquently put on our website. Don't forget to check us out on iTunes if you're not listening on iTunes. I think most of you are listening on iTunes from what I can see with the stats I look at. But if you're not, we're there. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, wherever you get podcasts. Obviously YouTube, as you might be watching us now. Check out www.quickdiztakes.com. I don't plug that enough, but I was actually on the site. Site's good. I think get some more traffic over there. Got some
Still a
blogs
lover of Disney sense.
Yeah, I haven't I haven't blogged in a while on there, to my own fault. But there are about 5 or 6 blogs posted on silly little tips and tricks and opinions that probably most people don't agree with, but read it and then tell me you don't agree with it, kind of thing. Other than that, we'll be back on Thursday with the news. Obviously, the live streams are instant on YouTube night of, and the aftermath, which would be any of the podcast platforms, are usually a day or two later. So just know that. All right, Chase, thanks for joining us over there on the live stream, and we'll see you guys soon.